welcome to our deep dive into Cane Corso obedience.
No, this will be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one too. We've got a whole bunch of articles and resources here, and I think we're going to be able to pull out some really good information about how to train these incredible dogs.
Yeah. They are incredible. They're so powerful and so smart.
They really are.
And to train them successfully, you really got to tap into how they learn.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the articles described a Cane Corso in training as a tiny student in obedience school.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's such a funny image to picture.
I know. I can just see it.
Right. But it just kind of goes to show that no matter how big and impressive they get, they still need our guidance.
Totally. And they really do thrive on, clear communication and having some boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's really where, basic obedience comes in.
That's right. And all of the sources here highlight a bunch of commands that every Cane Corso owner should really master.
Yeah.
Like the sit, stay, come, down, leave it, drop it, heel, wait, off, and no.
Those are the essentials.
Yeah, the real bread and butter of obedience.
Exactly. And for a Cane Corso especially, with their size and strength.
Oh, for sure.
These commands are super important for safety and control.
Yeah, it's not just about, teaching them to do tricks.
Right.
It's really about making sure you can communicate in any situation.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to be able to communicate with them.
And making sure they're safe.
Right.
And other people are safe.
Yeah. It's about speaking the same language.
Yeah.
So beyond just the communication aspect, though, obedience training with a Cane Corso, it really reinforces that you're the leader.
Yeah.
Which is super important with a breed that's as powerful as this one.
When I first started training my dog, the idea of leadership,
yeah,
it felt a little intimidating. I don't know if I can be a leader to a dog.
Yeah.
But reading through these sources, it became clear that it's not about dominance or anything like that. It's really about trust and understanding.
It is. And it's about, them understanding that you're the one who's going to guide them.
Yeah.
And keep them safe.
Yeah. And that actually, it goes right into what a lot of these articles talk about, which is positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
As being the best way to train a Cane Corso.
It's about making training a positive experience.
Yeah.
One of these sources really emphasize that Cane Corsos, they have this imposing appearance.
Right.
But they actually thrive on positive interaction.
Absolutely.
And they respond so well to things like treats and praise and affection.
You really do. They love to please.
Yeah, and they love their people.
Yeah.
So it's really about tapping into that and creating that positive environment.
It really challenges, what some people think about training a dog like this.
Right.
That you need to be really firm or have a strong hand.
Right.
But really it's about, creating that positive environment where they can learn.
Yeah. So let's get practical.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
If I'm teaching my Cane Corso to sit, okay.
How am I using positive reinforcement to do that?
So let's say you have a treat. Hold it above their head.
Okay.
And then you kind of lure them into that sit position with the treat.
Okay.
And as soon as their rear touches the ground, you give them the treat and you say yes.
Okay.
Really enthusiastically.
So clear actions and immediate positive feedback.
Exactly.
But what about commands that are a little trickier, like stay?
Yes.
That one always seemed tough to me.
So with stay, you want to start small.
Okay.
So you reward them for just holding that position for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
And then you can gradually increase, the duration and the distance.
Okay.
And every time you're using a consistent hand signal and you're using the verbal cue.
Gotcha. So we're kind of building it up like a game almost.
Exactly.
One of the sources mentioned keeping the training sessions pretty short,
Yes.
like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
To keep the dog engaged and prevent boredom.
Uh-huh.
Is that really enough for a Cane Corso?
Well, they are smart. Yeah.
But especially when they're puppies,
Okay.
they have pretty short attention spans.
Gotcha.
So it's really about quality over quantity.
Okay.
So those short little bursts of training multiple times a day
Yeah.
can work wonders.
It keeps it fun.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. So that brings us to another point that all the sources emphasize.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Consistency is
It's not just about you being consistent.
right.
It's about everyone in the house being on the same page.
Exactly.
So if one person uses down and another person uses lie down for the same behavior,
right.
It's going to be confusing.
It's going to confuse the dog.
Yeah. So we're all speaking the same language with our dog.
Exactly.
No mixed signals.
Click signals.
But let's be realistic. Training any dog takes time.
Oh, yeah.
It takes patience.
Yeah.
And a Cane Corso.
Right.
They've got a strong will,
They do.
so it might be even more challenging.
Yeah. You just got to remember that every dog learns at its own pace.
Okay.
And, some Cane Corsos might pick up on things really quickly,
Uh-huh.
and others might need a little more time
Right.
and a little more repetition.
Okay.
But don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
It's really about celebrating those little wins
Yeah.
and making sure that training stays fun.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
So we've got the basics down,
Okay.
the essential commands,
Mm-hmm.
positive reinforcement,
Yeah.
and consistency.
And patience.
And patience. Welcome back to our deep dive on Cane Corso obedience training.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. So as we were wrapping up part 1,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that aha moment I had
Okay.
when I realized that leadership in dog training
Yeah.
isn't really about dominance.
Yeah.
It's more about guiding and building that trusting relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be like a mentor to your dog,
Yeah, like a coach.
not a dictator.
Yeah. And it's so much more rewarding.
Oh, yeah, for both of you.
Yeah, for both you and the dog when you approach it that way.
Exactly. Speaking of rewards,
I know.
we talked about how important positive reinforcement is,
Yeah.
especially for this breed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, are there any specific treats or rewards
Oh, that's a good question.
that work really well for Cane Corsos?
So, every dog is different, but in general, Cane Corsos really like those high-value treats.
Okay.
So, things like little pieces of cooked chicken or cheese,
Oh, yeah.
even freeze-dried liver.
Oh, fancy.
They love that stuff.
Yeah, those all sound pretty delicious.
I know, right?
But it's not all about the food, right?
Right.
It's not just about the treats.
We talked about positive reinforcement being
Yeah.
a combination of the treats and praise and affection.
Exactly. And, sometimes just a simple good dog,
Yeah,
but you say it like you really mean it.
with feeling.
Yeah, with enthusiasm.
Yeah.
That can be just as rewarding as a treat.
Okay.
And don't underestimate a good head scratch
Yeah.
or a belly rub.
Oh, yeah, they love that. They love it. They're very affectionate dogs,
Yeah.
and they want that connection.
Yeah, so it's like we're figuring out their love language.
I like that.
But for training.
Yeah. Find that perfect balance of rewards that your dog really responds to.
Exactly. And speaking of communication and understanding,
Yeah.
the sources really emphasized clear and consistent cues.
Yes. Both verbal cues and hand signals.
Right. Because we can't exactly sit down and have a conversation with our dogs.
Well, I wish we could.
Right. That would make things a lot easier.
Yeah. But since we can't, we need to make sure that the signals that we're giving them are really clear
Yeah.
and that they don't change.
Right.
Because, imagine trying to learn a new language
Yeah.
where the word for something was constantly changing.
That would be so frustrating.
It would be impossible. It's the same for your dog.
Yeah.
So consistent cues help them understand exactly what we're asking.
Okay. So it's not just about using the same commands.
Right.
But it's also about being consistent with our body language.
Yeah.
And our tone of voice.
Totally. Cane Corsos are really perceptive.
Yeah,
They're
so-
masters at reading our body language,
Yeah.
and they pick up on those subtle cues in our tone of voice.
Wow.
So, if you're feeling hesitant or unsure about a command,
Yeah.
your Cane Corso is going to sense that,
Interesting.
and they might be less likely to obey.
Wow. That's fascinating.
So it's really important that, even though you want to be positive
Yeah.
and encouraging, you also want to project confidence and clarity.
Right. So we're finding that sweet spot between being the leader,
Yes,
but also being fair and understanding.
exactly. And
Yeah.
we want to have leadership
Yeah.
that inspires trust and respect,
Not fear.
not fear.
Right. Yeah. And that respect goes both ways.
It does.
We need to respect our Cane Corsos
Yes.
as the intelligent and capable dogs they are.
Absolutely.
And, recognize that they're eager to learn
They are.
and they want to please us.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start from that place of mutual respect, training becomes a lot less about like forcing our will.
Right.
And it's more about working together as a team.
Exactly.
And that can be really rewarding.
It is.
I love that we're partners in this training journey.
We are.
Both learning and growing together.
I like that.
Speaking of learning, one of the sources mentioned that Cane Corsos are sensitive dogs.
They are.
So how does that factor into our training approach?
So because they are sensitive,
Okay.
we need to remember that they're very in tune with our moods and emotions.
Yeah.
And they're really affected by negativity and harshness.
Okay.
So yelling or using punishment
Yeah.
is not only ineffective,
Okay.
it can actually damage your bond with your dog.
Wow.
And it can cause behavioral issues.
Okay, so it's really a reminder that positive reinforcement is the foundation
It is.
for a healthy relationship.
Yes.
It's not just a nice to have.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
essential.
It's the foundation of your relationship.
Yeah. And it sounds like timing is really important too. One of the sources said, the sooner you start training at Cane Corso, the better.
The better. Yeah, you want to take advantage of those really key learning periods.
Okay.
Puppies are like little sponges,
Yeah.
soaking up new information.
Right.
So starting basic obedience training as early as 8 weeks old.
8 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can really set your Cane Corso up for success.
That seems so young.
It does. But they can start learning those basic commands really early on.
Okay. So are there any specific things we need to consider for training a puppy versus an adult Cane Corso?
So with puppies, you want to keep those training sessions really short
Okay.
and fun and frequent.
Yeah.
So think like 5 to 10 minute bursts.
Gotcha.
Several times a day.
Okay.
And focus on, making sure that they have a positive association
Right.
with training.
Right from the get-go.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Lots of praise.
Okay.
Happy energy.
Uh-huh.
And of course, those high-value treats.
That's good stuff.
The good stuff.
So you want to make them love learning?
Exactly.
What about adult Cane Corsos
Yeah.
that maybe haven't had much training? Is it too late to start?
It is never too late.
Okay, good.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
That's good to hear.
You just need to be a little more patient
Okay.
and consistent.
Gotcha.
But, adult Cane Corsos are still very capable of learning
Okay.
and responding to training.
So it's never too late to start.
Never too late.
That's great.
Just, be realistic about what you expect and celebrate all those small victories.
That's a good point.
Every step forward
Hmm.
is really a testament to that bond you share
Yeah.
and to your commitment to your Cane Corso.
That's beautiful.
So, don't give up.
Yeah.
Just keep working at it.
One of the sources also mentioned ending training sessions on a positive note.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it can really boost your Cane Corso's confidence.
Okay.
And it leaves them wanting more. So you could finish with the command that they've already mastered.
Okay.
You give them lots of praise and a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Or even a fun game of fetch.
Yeah, I like that.
So they end on a good note.
And it keeps training fun
Exactly.
for both of us.
For both of you.
So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From the importance of clear communication,
Yeah.
positive reinforcement,
Mm-hmm.
to the power of patience and consistency.
And that, training isn't just about teaching commands. It's about building that strong, loving relationship.
Yeah, with our Cane Corso.
Exactly.
Welcome back to our final part of our Cane Corso deep dive.
I'm excited to wrap this up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So we've covered, the foundations of obedience, the power of positive reinforcement, clear communication.
That's right.
All that good stuff.
Yep.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Training any dog comes with challenges.
Oh, for sure.
And Cane Corsos are no exception.
No, they're not.
So what are some of the real-world challenges that come up? And how do we overcome them?
Well, I think one thing to remember is that, even with, the best training,
Yeah.
you're going to hit some bumps in the road.
Right.
Every Cane Corso has their own personality,
Okay.
and that can lead to some, interesting moments.
For sure. I can imagine. So the sources really emphasize distractions
Yes.
as being a big one.
Distractions are definitely a big challenge.
Okay.
They're very alert dogs.
Yeah.
They're curious by nature,
Makes sense.
so their attention can be pulled in a lot of directions.
Right. Especially with those guarding instincts.
Exactly.
Like they're always on the lookout.
Always on the lookout. So, you can be practicing stay at the park,
Okay.
and then a squirrel runs by,
Yeah.
and that stay command is gone.
Poof.
Gone.
Yeah. So how do we help them stay focused?
So one thing you can do is start training in a controlled environment.
Okay.
So at home where there's not many distractions.
Right.
And then once they have that command down, you can slowly start introducing distractions.
Okay.
And you just gradually increase the level of challenge.
So like distraction boot camp.
I love
We're
that.
building up their focus.
Exactly. And just like with any training,
Yeah.
patience and consistency are key.
Okay.
So if your Cane Corso gets distracted,
Yeah.
just gently redirect their attention,
Okay.
reinforce the command,
Uh-huh.
and praise them when they get it right.
So it's about guiding them through it,
Exactly.
not getting frustrated.
Not getting frustrated.
Okay. So distractions are one thing.
Yeah.
What other challenges come up?
Well, I think one thing with Cane Corsos is that they are intelligent
Yeah.
and they are independent,
Right.
which can sometimes mean that they're a little strong-willed. They might test boundaries.
The Cane Corso stubborn streak.
That's hard
We've
now.
all heard about
You
it.
got to be ready for it.
So how do we work with that strong will?
Well, I think the key here is to remember
Yeah.
that we want to be calm and confident leaders.
Right.
You know, we've talked about clear communication, consistent boundaries.
Right.
Your Cane Corso needs to know that you're the one making decisions.
Yeah.
Not in a way that's intimidating,
Right.
but in a way that inspires trust and respect.
So again, it's not about dominance.
Right.
It's about guidance.
It is.
Clear, consistent guidance.
Yeah, and positive reinforcement is still your best friend.
Okay.
Reward those behaviors that you want to see. Ignore or redirect the ones you don't want.
So make it clear that following your lead is what brings positive results.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative.
Oh, okay.
You know, some Cane Corsos love food.
Sure.
Others are more motivated by toys or praise or petting.
So figure out what makes your dog tick.
Exactly.
Find their currency.
Find their currency.
And the sources also said to keep training fun
Yes.
and engaging.
Keep it fun. Keep it engaging.
Right.
A bored Cane Corso is
Yeah.
going to push those...
There's going to test you. But if they're having fun,
Yeah.
they're going to be much more willing to learn.
Exactly.
And I know that's true for me, too.
Me too.
When I'm having fun, I learn better.
For sure.
Mm.
Okay, so speaking of navigating the world,
Yes.
one of the sources mentioned socialization.
Oh, yeah, that's so important,
It's crucial.
especially for this breed.
It is.
So early and ongoing socialization
Yes.
helps them interact appropriately with other dogs, with people with different environments.
All sorts of
Right,
environments.
so we're talking puppy classes,
Yeah.
trips to the park,
Mm-hmm.
visiting pet-friendly stores,
Yeah.
anything that gets them out there safely.
Exactly. You want them to experience the world in a positive way.
Yeah, and it shouldn't stop at puppyhood,
No, it's a lifelong thing.
right?
Keep providing them with new experiences
Yeah.
and reinforcing those positive interactions.
It's an adventure for all of us.
It is. It really is.
So a well-socialized Cane Corso
Yeah.
is a happy dog
A harpy dog.
and a safe dog. And a safe dog.
Yeah,
That's so important.
absolutely. So as we're wrapping up here,
Okay.
if there's one thing I hope you take away,
Yeah.
it's that training your Cane Corso is a journey.
It is a journey.
It's not a destination.
That's right.
There will be ups.
Yeah.
There will be downs.
Uh-huh.
There will be moments that make you question everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you approach every moment with patience,
Yes.
with consistency,
And love.
and a whole lot of love,
So much love.
you'll build an incredible bond with your Cane Corso.
You will.
And you'll help them reach their full potential.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's not just about training commands.
Right.
It's about shaping your Cane Corso into a well-rounded,
Yeah.
confident,
Uh-huh.
well-behaved companion.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
You're not.
There are so many resources out there.
Yeah.
Trainers,
Books.
behaviorists.
Online communities.
Reach out if you need help.
Yes. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey.
This is supposed to be a fun bonding experience
It is.
for both you and your Cane Corso.
It should be fun for both of you.
So that wraps up our deep dive on Cane Corso training.
I had fun.
Me too. We hope you found it helpful
I hope so.
and insightful.
Yep.
And remember, the learning never really ends.
It doesn't.
Keep exploring
Keep learning.
and keep building that amazing bond with your Cane Corso.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.